Hello everyone, Brenticuss here, and I got Miss Cuss right here.
Hi.
Hi. So, spoilers, we're going to talk about the new Star Wars movie that came out on December 20th, episode 9. Was it Rise of the Skywalker?
Yes.
Okay, so um, I've seen some of the Star Wars over the years of my life. Nancy really hadn't, so we actually spent the last month on Disney Plus. Not sponsored by Disney Plus, but I wish we were. Would be in a '06 Dodge Ram doing a crappy live feed. Anyway, we watched episodes 1 through 6. We watched Solo, Rogue One. We haven't done the Mandalorian Chronicles or whatever, the little baby Yoda from everything's coming up. But anyway, uh, to pretty much build up to this, somehow I think we've missed episode 8. I don't
Yes,
know
I think
how.
we did.
I don't think we missed it. So we are going to talk about the movie. So if you haven't seen it or whatever, spoilers. Here you go. I I did this when I was younger. I watched episode 1, The Phantom Menace, with my family, I believe, back when it was out in theaters, and then I missed episode 2, and then my friends were like, "Hey, let's go see episode 3," and I was like, "Well, I never saw episode 2." So I what?
We didn't miss it.
We didn't miss anything.
No, that's the
The
last
Last
Jedi.
Jedi. So what's it? Have we? What episode was that?
8.
8? How did
Yeah.
we? What was 7? Let's wait. 7, 6, 7.
7
7 should have been
was
the new one with the
The Force Awakens.
yeah Force
We watched
Awakens.
that one. So we're good.
So that's 8. Do I not know how to know Roman numerals?
Probably not.
Okay, well that's not a surprise. Anyway, so I guess we haven't missed anything. Good. Cause I was like, man, for us to miss something, everything seems pretty point on. So, Star Wars retarded. Forgive us. But anyway, so that kind of kills that story. What do you think about the movie?
I like it. I have heard people that don't like it, but I like it. And I'm not really a fan about Star Wars, so, and I like it.
Yeah, kind of have to be careful here. Star Wars, good. George Lucas, the orchestra, all you guys, great job. But it never really kind of just clicked with me. I know there's a humongous Star Wars universe, but I haven't been part of that universe because I watch movies. I appreciate what they are, but I'm not like, yeah, Star Wars. I kind of did it kind of like when I watched all the Rockies the other day. I was like, I kind of wanted to do it just to say I did it. But I feel like the Jedi's were very Jedi-y. You know what I mean? Like they were very powerful.
Yes.
Like they kept doing this warp fight with each other, Rey and Ren. She shot out some force lightning. They were actually pulling down a starship. I mean, it was very like I'm watching superpower knights with lightsabers fighting. That's what I felt like.
Other thing, I'm surprised that they have a woman to be a Jedi, and I think it was just males.
Yeah, that is the thing. And then Leia kind of put that on
Like,
it.
yeah.
My shoulders get tired. Okay. Hey, that works. So anyway, um, um, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it better than the other one. I mean, I gotta say, I probably liked it better than the rest of them. To be honest with you, out of all the ones I've watched, we watched Rogue One, and it wasn't me. There's a lot of people out there probably like, we will kill you in your sleep, but Rogue One wasn't me. Solo was a little like,
At least I knew the background of Leia and him.
yeah, I mean, it does give you a background. But it was long. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, which, I mean, I know with the price of everything and production quality and everything, even your crappiest movie is over an hour and a half. Because back when I used to go to the theater a lot when I was in my 20s and a teenager, I mean, most movies were like an hour and 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and you were out. And that's even with, 20 minutes of previews.
Yeah, hour and 30 minutes a most.
Yeah. So now, like, even your no-name standard, either animation or just, new start movie is almost 2 hours. I mean, $1.50 is usually what you're looking at. Um, so, but I mean, when you go into a Star Wars movie, it's a solid 2 hours. I mean, Endgame was what, over 3 hours long, right?
Yes.
that was a lot of movie. Like when we watched Endgame the other day, probably about a month ago, and between our son prying our attention away from the TV and everything, I mean, it took us all afternoon because you're watching this, and you naturally get to that point in a movie where you're like, what time is it? How long has it been? And you look at it and you're like, wow, it's been 2 hours and we still have an hour left of movie. And that's kind of the way we felt in there when we were watching Star Wars, that when Rey and Ren fought on top of the garbage in the ocean thing or whatever, we're like, okay, final battle. It felt like a final battle, but then we looked down and we're like, man, we still got like an hour left of movie. Like, this is a lot. Which kind of took the suspense out of it with this warp fight they can do. Like, they're so closely intact and bonded that they can just fight no matter where they're at and interact with each other. Kind of added a new element. Like,
Yeah.
you weren't like traveling to fight the guy. You could pretty much fight them anytime you wanted to.
Yeah.
I kept thinking they were cousins for some reason. So like when they
Me too.
So like when they kissed at the end, I was like, oh, but then I realized, I mean, they just.
I was hoping a superpower baby.
Yeah, she's like, oh, look, a superpowered baby. And then he turns into like,
Nothing. He just died.
Obi-Wan Kenobi dust. And it's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
A lot more humor. Maybe that's the Disney spin on the Star Wars industry. There was a lot of humor, a lot of little cutesy animals along the way. With that little, it's like if everybody knows Ben 10 from Cartoon Network, Gray Matter, they kind of ripped him pretty good as the little. Do you remember what his name? The little bitty thing that wiped 3PO's 3CPO.
Can't remember the name, but that was cute.
Yeah, he was a little character, and I kept thinking of Gray Matter from Ben 10. But all around, I thought it was pretty cool. I really, probably, if you had to ask me, I enjoyed this one out of all the Star Wars. And don't kill me, don't hate me, but I mean, as far as what I look at, because I always felt like the Jedis should be the Superman of this kind of universe, but they only kind of act like the Batman, if that makes any sense, because they're supposed to be super powered, and like, I don't know, when it gets down to them battling, it's just lightsabers and bouncing around a little bit. This one, they were doing the warp battles, they pulled down a star carrier, the Force lightning was a huge thing playing here, Ren healing people.
Yes, that's the main thing. I love that when she was healing the little. What was it? It wasn't that little though.
The snake.
The snake.
Yeah, the giant snake. Like, that was kind of, I don't know what that was, but I mean, it just felt like the Jedis went from just these, kind of swordsmen that ran around smacking everybody with a lightsaber to actual like superheroes, because they were doing like these jumps, and like when it hit the ground, it was like, doo. And I kind of felt like that was missing, even from, now I know the old ones stuff were limited in what they were trying to do, but even with like episodes 1 through 3, where they had, a ton of CGI and everything, I still felt like they weren't like superheroes. It was just kind of guys are a little bit better than your average swordsman. But this time it felt like these were actually like superhuman creatures. Like when she disabled his TIE fighter and it blows up and he just walks away from it like nothing.
What was the other one? They were killing all the ones in black with the red. Every time that they were flying, you can hear like, whee!
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh my god.
Yeah, so I mean, I felt like, as far as like a Jedi making a presence, now Vader, when he went down the hallway in Rogue One, was kind of tapping on that, because always, like, Vader's a badass, and I think he's a badass, but I never, like, outside of him like force choking people and doing a few things, I was like, man, flex your Vader muscle. So when he just wiped out everybody in that hallway in Rogue One, I was like, cool. But I feel like that's the most I've seen out of him. But I mean, mad respect for the whole franchise and all the stuff in it and everything, because I'm kind of want to
all the details.
Yeah, it's
They
just,
were amazing.
but some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi, and I mean, it's kind of where I'm at. I money well spent. I enjoyed the movie we saw tonight, but I mean, I don't know. Which one's been your favorite so far?
This one.
This one, out of all of them.
Yep.
So I kind of,
like I said, I'm not really fan of, but
I kind of took Miss Cuss down the wrong road because instead of starting with episode 1 and going through the natural progression, I was like, oh, we're going to start from the time they were produced. So we started with episode 4, 5, and 6, and then went back to 1, 2, and 3, and then went to 7.
So I was so confused and asking all the time because I was like, huh, what? How would that happen if that person was dead already?
Yeah, so like it was fine, 4, 5, and 6, everything was tracking. Well, then when we started 1, I'm like, hey, that spoiler alert, but like Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader, and she's like, how's the little boy, the guy I just saw die in the last episode? I'm like, well, this is in the past, and we're gonna get to the future.
And I was like, huh?
Yeah, and I didn't do her no favors, but I just felt like if you started with something that was produced in the 2000s and then you go progressively into something from the 70s, that it may have lost its wonder, and then go right back into something that was made in the teens of the 2000s, it would kind of jerk you all over the place. But I guess as far as story, it would have been more naturally leading.
Yeah.
But we did it. I think we took us we did it in our free time. So I mean, we weren't like, staying awake at night or anything, but we said, hey, we're gonna watch all the Star Wars movies. And I mean, we probably do maybe
like 2 months.
2 months, because we did about a movie a week, depending on how our Saturdays and Sundays were. When we were off work, we'd try to squeeze in maybe one over those 2 days, and then one in the afternoons between watching Punisher and everything else, which, Punisher. But or the Chronicles of Shane from Walking Dead, still undone.
Yeah. That voice.
But anyway, that's it. So I guess we'll stop here, and this is our first live stream. Hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, see ya.
Bye.
May the Force be with you. Oh, boo. They'll be mad at me because that's Star Trek, not Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.